Hey guys, today I'm going to show you what I believe to be the best aquarium filter that €7 can buy you. And this is the wonderful Sunsun HBL 302. So we're going to unbox this filter, show you it in action, and show you how I customize it because I do believe it is very customizable. And I'll tell you all about why I believe it's one of the best purchases for the price. P.S. This is not a sponsored review. I purchased this myself and I've actually never talked to the brand. They don't even know I exist. Before we start, I do want to address the number one concern, which I know is on everybody's mind: quality and safety. Whenever we hear about a very, very cheap product, we think, oh, it must be very low quality, it might break within a week or things of the sorts. And while I will agree with you, some stuff are just not worth spending not even €5 on, there are also some very expensive stuff, branded stuff that personally I find not to be any better than this. There is a brand out there which is considered a luxury brand that I tried 3 products from. All 3 of them were seriously lacking in quality. So for me, the whole cheap products are bad rule is not a rule. Like with all electronic devices in our aquariums, we need to be very careful when using them, turn them off whenever we put our hand in the aquarium. And I'll give you my personal hint to make life easier with this. I buy power bricks that have on-off switches for each inlet. You can see one on the screen right now. So whenever I want to do something in the tank or clean the tank, I just power off the filter and the skimmer and whatever I have running and go ahead and do my job without having to unplug them, which can be rather annoying sometimes. I don't know why. It's so easier to just flip a switch, right? So try to find those types of power bricks because they will make life a lot easier for you. And with products that are cheap and products that are expensive, it is always important to prioritize health. Gear that malfunctions doesn't really have a price sometimes, trust me. And this is a simple product. It doesn't have a whole lot of moving parts. It just has a pump inside and the rest is plastic, right? So let's get to the unboxing, shall we? So I was saying this costs €7 on Amazon. I paid for it €10 locally. Things are generally more expensive here in Cyprus because we're an island. So I can always expect up to 50% more on the price tag, but you can have the nice surprise of finding it much cheaper in your country. Inside, we have some cartridges which contain active carbon. These are notorious with hang-on filters of any kind. I hate them. Then we have the actual pump and the the main body of the filter. We also have a little manual here. This is a very easy device. We don't really need it, but it's good to read. And inside, this is the filter. Now, we don't have a whole bunch of accessories with it, but it's okay because we can customize it, we can add them, and you'll see what accessories I like to add. Here, what we have are 2 types of inlets, which, not sure if you need both. I personally use this, but I guess you could use something like this if you have a very shallow tank. Oh, maybe this is for shallow tanks because the main pipe is adjustable as well. Look at that. So yeah, this might actually be good for shallow tanks. We're not going to be using it on a shallow tank. So let's go ahead and assemble it. The main feature that I love about this filter is that the impeller, notice how I didn't say impaler? So the impeller sits inside the tank, just like an internal filter. You know what this means? It's very quiet. Enough said. If you know me, you know that this is my main criteria for choosing filters. They need to be quiet because all my tanks are here. I film here, I do my work here. I need it to be as quiet as possible in the early morning when I have my coffee because afterwards it gets noisy. But at least in the morning, I want to have my quiet time or else I'm gonna go mental. So unlike other hang-on filters, the impeller on this one sits inside. It is very quiet. The impeller is right in the middle. On top goes the main pipe and on the bottom goes this little grill, which we will need to customize if we want to keep shrimp, which is what I will be keeping with this filter. But don't worry, it's easy. The impeller can be accessed through here. And this is the only part that you would need additional help with, especially if you just removed gel from your nails and now they're as thin as paper. You need something to push a little bit this notch here. There you go. And you can access the impeller from here. Ta-da! Just like an internal filter, you guys. There we go. Let's put it back. If you'll ever have this filter, don't press this bit here. it will not go. You need to put it a little bit at an angle, so not like this, a little like this. I'm exaggerating here for demonstration. See, like this, and then rotate, and it's back in place. So this sits in the tank, and this can be adjustable, as I was saying. And if you decide to go for the other, if you decide to go for the other filter nozzle, there you go, it is shorter. I will be using this one. Next, the pipe sits on the main body of the filter, like so. The filter then sits on the edge of the tank, like so. And there we have it. That's pretty much all there is to it. Let's talk about what we fill this filter with. As we can see, the inside is actually pretty spacious. Now, you can definitely use the cartridges because even if you use them, you will still have space to add biological filtration. My only problem with them is that the activated carbon can potentially mess around with the fertilizers that I use, so I prefer not to use them. What I will use though are some sponges that eerily resemble those cartridges. You can find this type of sponge at any pet shop. This happens to be a Blau branded one, but it really doesn't matter. It's just sponge. So these two pieces, I like to place them right here in the front just to hold in my biological filtration. You see they make a little bit of a wall here. Not that it can flow out of it into the aquarium, but I happen to be using matrix, and this stuff can sometimes just float in the water. If you're using other types of ceramic rings or stuff, maybe you don't even need these two little sponge inserts. You could just fill everything up with biological filtration, and that is exactly what I did with mine. I personally like Seachem Matrix, so I kind of filled up the entire cartridge with matrix. Hang-on filters, historically, the cheap ones don't really have much space for biological filtration. This one does. Now you might say, hold up, before biological filtration we kind of need to have a sponge just to filter out the big stuff, right? That is correct. You can also put a sponge in this cartridge and then fill with biological filtration in these two cartridges. Or what I will do, because this will be put in a shrimp tank, is use a sponge on the intake like this. This is a little bit big. I have tinier ones somewhere. They come from Blau, but at the pet shop, you can definitely find spare round intake sponges. They protect tiny fish and shrimplets from getting into the filter. You can definitely add it as a pre-filter sponge here, and hey presto, you're not gonna have any big debris clogging up your biological filtration. So whichever way you choose to go, you have these two options, and you do have a lot of space for your bio rings or whatever you like to use. But Danny, I want a hang-on filter that has an adjustable flow. This has an adjustable flow as well. This little wheel here adjusts the flow pretty darn well. So there you go, it is adjustable as well. Now speaking about the flow, they say here that the highest flow is 350 liters per hour. I don't know about that. Usually filters are a little bit optimistic with their numbers here, even branded ones. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's not 350, but it's good enough for, let's say, a 30-liter tank max, I would say. Maybe even more than that, depending what you have in there. If you only have one betta in a 40-liter tank, that would be a 10-gallon. I think this one would be absolutely fantastic as well. Obviously, the more bio load you have in the tank, the more flow you would need as well. But for nano tanks, I think this is great. And if you're interested in the power of this filter, it is 3 watts. One of the drawbacks is, of course, that it's very visible in the tank, not as visible as an internal filter, but definitely it would be nicer just to have the intake, particularly in a tank that is not super heavily planted. But in a tank that does have quite a few plants, I find that it's not all that hard to hide it. With some stems that can grow tall, I think it's not really all that bad, but yeah. Also, it's gray, not black, and for certain setups that have a black background, it really kind of sticks out. It would stick out even if you would have a white background, so it doesn't really blend in pretty much no matter what. However, the upside with having the pump in the tank is that it is absolutely 100% self-priming. Sometimes power gets shut down, and this happens quite a lot. One of the drawbacks of hang-on filters is that sometimes they just cannot reprime themselves and you can end up with a burnt pump because of this. Some hang-ons are better than others. The Aqua Clears, usually I didn't have many issues with them, but the Blau ones, oh boy, I'm gonna show you. Well, you will never have issues with these guys, because the moment the power comes on, there you go. The filter works again without you having to do anything, even if the level of water is lower. As long as the level of water is above the pump, everything should be fine. And just to show you what I mean, this is a typical hang-on filter. I just turned off the power and let's start it again. Oh, brother. That's quite the noise, right? Well, it's not priming itself back up. And this is mainly because the level of my water decreased a little bit. Usually if it's up to here, it kind of reprimes itself, but if it goes just a little bit lower, it just doesn't. And it does this forever, pretty much until I come back to put some water in the tank, and that's why I have this little spoon here. This is my quarantine tank, by the way, so what I need to do is remove the lid and put some water inside. Shush, shush. There he goes. And if you're wondering why I make such a fuss with the noise, let me show you. This is the sound this filter makes. And this is the sound a very typical hang-on filter makes. Just because the impeller is on the outside. That was a Blau filter, but it seems to me like it's a standard model. You can find it from different brands on the internet. Again, it is quite affordable, but not as affordable as this one. And the noise, trust me, when you have a whole bunch of Nano tanks, it gets unbearable. I had it happen. I don't want to go there again. So yeah, that's why I consider this filter to be the best filter 7 euros can buy. Is it the best filter 20 euros can buy? Maybe. Is it the best one 50 euros can buy? Oh heck no, there are better ones than this, but for the price, you guys, I think it's great. Now, will it stand the test of time? I really don't know, but I will be sure to let you know in a pinned comment if I have any issues or if it's still going strong. If you're watching this video 1 year after I uploaded and you don't really have much of a bad update in the pinned comment, then it means it works great. I personally don't suspect it can break that easily. I mean, all you have is this pump here. That's all. There isn't a whole lot of moving parts. The rest of it is just plastic. You don't even have to apply much pressure to open it. I don't see how you will break the plastic because you don't need to apply force to this. And other than that, on paper at least, it looks like a fine filter for 7 euros. Alrighty guys, so let me know down below in the comments if you have this filter. How is it working out for you? Or if you decide to buy the filter after this review, let me know how you like it and let me know if this review was useful for you guys. And with that said, don't forget to give a like on this video if you end up enjoying it and subscribe for more videos. I'll see you all next time. Bye!